Welcome in, you fellow troglodytes. Today's video is somewhat special. It's been quite a while that I've done this. After creating tons and tons of content mainly focused on Billy, I thought I should give it another try to make a small tutorial. The tutorial that I'm showing you guys today is in addition to my previously released How to Play Hillbilly in Dead by Daylight video over a year ago. Make sure to check out that tutorial as well, because a combination of these two videos will be the ultimate guide for you on how to play Billy. Now, without further ado, gamers, let's get into the video. Enjoy! 99ing your chainsaw, also known as feathering. In the following clip, you're gonna see that feathering your chainsaw to 99% is actually really important. Some survivors are gonna try to juke you out by going left and right, but because you're feathering 99, you can keep an oversight on what you're doing. Eventually, once you feel confident to down them, you will be able to. If the survivor is gonna start hugging you, basically try to get out of your FOV, then you should just simply press your S key. Do that in combination with feathering, which we just saw, and you will be able to keep an oversight of where the survivor is. Do not be impatient with your chainsaw, and try to keep an oversight, as we said in the first point. This tip might be one of the most important ones on Billy. I see a lot of players, even some skilled Billy players, make this mistake. They M1 in a dead zone. Basically, if you would M1 in this situation, the survivor can beeline all the way to Shack and actually survive, or at least make their way out. Whilst in this example shown, you can see that by pressing M2 and using my chainsaw, they're actually downed. So make use of all those dead zones in the map and make sure to down them with your M2. If I tell you to make use of dead zones, we talk about zoning. Zoning is shown in the next two clips. As you can see in the first clip, the survivor chooses to keep on running, in which they're gonna be dropping the pallet anytime soon. Here they drop the pallet. As you can see to their left, there's a complete dead zone. We're gonna make use of that and force them towards the left zone. How did we force them here? Let's rewatch the clip. If you pay attention to this clip, you can see that I go to the right, fake it out, and here break the pallet. This means, by going right, that they would or should go left. This means I force them into a dead zone, where, as you could see in the previous tips given, you should down them with your M2. If you look at this clip, for example, it's the exact same story. We can see that in front of them is nothing to work with. So we try to keep them as close as possible to the pallet, then break the pallet, and get another down. Now, what happens if these people keep on dropping pallets? It's insanely unfair against Billy, as we all know. Now, there's a good tip to this. You can actually feather the pallet. As you can see, I shortly feathered my chainsaw so that they would actually keep on running. As you can tell, we could get a M1 hit here. In this particular clip that I'm showing you, they aren't injured. But imagine the survivor being injured, this would be a perfect play by you. Feathering isn't only used for an M1 hit. As you can see here, I feathered my chainsaw to make sure that the survivor goes to the other side of sync car. That way, I was capable of downing them easily on the side that I wanted them to be. If they would have stayed around the side of the pallet, it would have been harder for me to curve because of the interaction with the pallet. Hence, the feathering to make them go to this side, where it's an easy GG. This tip, the learn and understand collision, is actually one where I have more material than I would have expected to. Learning and understanding collision is very important when you play Billy. It's the same like Blight. As you can tell in the few clips that I'm going to be showing you, you can tell that a lot of items, or let's say certain tiles, do not have collision. These are the most known ones. These are called sync cars, because a lot of the syndicate members tend to curve these cars with Billy. Now, not only do these cars not have collision, there are many tiles in Dead by Daylight for you to explore, and not for me to show you, because that is the whole thing behind Billy, that you can explore to find out which ones don't have collision, such as the ones that I'm showing right now. As you can see in the clips, you can genuinely start doing it pretty early onto the car. As you can tell here, I initiated the curve already on the other side. Same goes for this car, for example. This is a car that a lot of people tend to forget about. As you can see, in this clip, this is a little bit more experienced, but Shack also does not always have collision if you curve it in the right way. On the Autohaven realm, you're not going to get too much value because of the table inside. But if you would think about a Macmillan Shack, you can do quite a lot of cool things. Now, sadly enough, but rightfully so, some tiles do have collision. For example, these cars, they have the actual collision that a car should have. As you can tell, I cannot do the same movement that I could do before on the other glidable or curvable cars. These cars do not share the same collision. As you can tell, I am showcasing you right now the way that they actually bump. You will see that in any way, shape or form you try it, you genuinely have to curve them the way you should curve with Billy as well. Either you do a 180, small 180, or a 90 degrees curve. But, as I said before, some tiles that you may not have thought about do not share collision, such as some rocks. Understanding tiles, whether you should curve them or not. This is going to be a longer one, gamers. Understanding tiles is something that you need to learn. This muscle memory and knowledge of Billy. As you can see by my Picasso-like drawing yet again, there's a pretty basic way to go over the tiles in DBD. You either have a typical rectangular one with shorter sides, which are easy to curve. But once they start becoming bigger, as shown on Avery's for example, and especially when they become a square, you should not try to curve these. A proper survivor that knows what he's doing will never fall for a curve on the two tiles shown in the top corner. If you would look at the tile in the bottom left, you can see that I took one side to be able to curve and the other side not, and that speaks for itself. As you can tell, for example, on tiles like these, you should curve them from this side, but from the other side, because of the way it's built, such as shown in the left bottom corner earlier, it is basically impossible unless you're a really experienced Billy. Some tiles may be curvable, such as jungle gyms, for example. As you can tell, I am perfectly capable of curving them in any way, shape, form possible. But against a really experienced survivor, you will notice that there are many things to do against a Billy. There is, for example, the window that you can see that I'm passing by right now, where a survivor can see through and genuinely just see where you are. On top of that, Billy has one downside. His chainsaw tips over the edge of the tile. So if they're not looking through the window, they will be able to see your chainsaw over the walls, even without stretchers. So that makes them capable of doing so many things. It's the window, it's the fact they can hide next to the locker, they can jump into the locker, or, as you can tell here, you get it down. Now onto the 4-lane. 4 lanes. I don't see a lot of Billies actually curving a 4-lane, but in this example shown, you will see that a 4-lane is actually perfectly curvable. Now, there is a little trick to it. After I've shown you this clip, I'm going to give you another Picasso-like drawing incoming right now. You can see that one of the biggest tricks to this is to hide your red stain on the window. As you can see, this is the 4-lane where I draw 2 of the lanes. And you can see that X marks Billy, and I actually hide my red stain from the survivor. As you see here, on this particular event, you will see that I didn't hide my red stain and the survivor was capable of getting away. Whilst if you look at the second attempt, I am trying to hide my red stain, and it's not even over-exaggerated right now. Hiding my red stain, so that the survivor is too late to actually anticipate to where I'm going. The next tile, for example, is Shack. This is one of the most asked tiles I get as Billy. How do I curve Shack? I am now showing 3 examples of how you could go around Shack. If you look at these kind of examples, I am anticipating on what the survivor is doing. In the third example, I am looking at the survivor, I am trying to do my mind game, but I notice that there's no vault animation. So I realize they're still waiting in front of the window. Now if we look at the last example one more time, there could be 2 things that the survivor did. Either they went for the pallet, which would be the safe thing to do as a survivor in this situation, or, as shown previously, they were just waiting in front of the window. This is a matter of learning how the survivor is running your Billy. So that's a learning curve. There is no better map in DBD than Ares of Crows, Ares of Pain, to show you which tiles you shouldn't go for curves as much. These tiles are the literal example of what I showed you in my drawing earlier, before we started this tip. You could tell by the drawing that the big rectangular ones, big rectangular tiles, especially with sticking out parts like these, are the ones that you shouldn't go for curves. I am a pretty experienced Billy myself. I've got many hours on Billy, I know how to curve, yet on Ares of Crows, all these tiles are genuinely too long. The only way you can get it down on these tiles with a proper curve is by capitalizing on mistakes that the survivor is making. These curves, or these tiles, rather said, are not meant to be curved by a Billy. Only capitalizing on mistakes from a survivor is the way to go on this tile. But once you notice you're going against a good survivor, such as me, I'm going against Axreal, one of my favorite Billy mains as well, you can tell that I will not be able to curve him. There's so many things they can do, small cubbies like this for example, and of course the way the tiles are built. So on areas of crows I would recommend these kind of tiles to use, but nothing else. If we would look for example at this tile, it's the corner that has collision. So that is one of the tiles that I talked about. You should take it from the left, but not from the right. That was the bottom left one that I showed earlier in the drawing. In this tile, I'm showcasing the length of the tile. This is the bigger rectangular one that I talked about, which also makes it, yet again, without capitalizing on mistakes of the survivor, impossible to be curved. The survivor will always have enough time to react on this tile. Heat management. The overheat mechanic, the oh so fun mechanic that BHVR wanted to add to the game. But hey, let's face it, it is the way it is. I personally don't have that much of an issue with heat management, even though I am running double engravings. I mostly get it down before I overheat. But in case you wouldn't, the best thing to do once you start reaching the max of your overheat, after getting that down, you could on purpose overheat yourself so that way your cooldown is faster. If this happens during a chase, you are making mistakes and you should rewatch the tutorial. Learn distances. This is an important one to start off on Billy yet again. I know all my tips are important, but hey guys, I can't help it, I'm making it. Now what do I mean about distancing? Basically, you need to learn where to start revving your chainsaw. As you can tell in the first two examples, I start revving way too late, which makes the survivor capable of going behind the corner or getting a vault. Yet again, here you can see that I'm way too late and they made it to a safe spot. Whilst in this example, I start revving a little bit earlier, and if the game would have been on my side, this could have been a hit. But hey, I'm dog shit at Billy, right? Here you will see that the timing is actually perfect. I start revving just in time to make sure that I can get the curve around the corner. But in this example, we will see that I started way too late. And yet again, the survivor is on the safe side. Same goes for this part. I am yet again way too late and the survivor can make it into a safe zone. Even though I bump, you saw that the survivor was behind the corner. I hear many of you wondering, what is the anti-locker tech and why does Sofa have it in this tutorial? Well, very simple. A lot of survivors tend to jump into lockers. There is two ways to go about this. You're always going to be feathering your chainsaw 99%. Either they're going to wait out your full overheat and you can actually grab them out of the locker immediately after overheating. If they would try to come out because they think that you're not revving 99, you just bait them out by stepping a little bit forward, they come out, and you can actually down them. If they wouldn't come out whilst you're still feathering 99 with the tips and tricks that I showed you earlier, you can yet again just easily grab them out of the locker. I hope you all enjoyed the tutorial, I hope you learned a few things. For the people that didn't know, I also stream on Twitch, you're always welcome over there as well. Everything will be linked down below. I will also link the previous tutorial in the description. For the rest, I would like you all to have a wonderful week. And if you have any questions, make sure you join my Discord to send me a DM or ask something in the general chat, which is filled with Billy mains. Have a good evening and see each other on the next video.